streaming. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Left Wave Transmission. We are so sorry that we missed last week. Schedules do be scheduling. Oh, my own advert's playing out to me. Thank you so much for being here, though. Today we have so much to talk about. We're going to catch up with everything we missed last week, UK politics, updates in the US politics that have just happened over the last couple of days. We're going to talk about, from my segment, I'm going to talk about House of the Dragon. We're going to talk about Keir Starmer, the DSA. So without further ado, let's get into it with today's lineup. Who we got? We got, is Charlie's Angels an inappropriate thing to say? I'm worried it's been cancelled. I can't remember. But we got the three ladies. We're saying that? Probably, yeah. Charlie probably should be cancelled. Let's be fair. So, introduce yourselves again, just for us. Yeah. Fantastic intro. I love it. Girl, same. Yes, my name is Louise. I run a channel called Matriarchetype, or Matriarchetype. I hear some people say. I love that, but Matriarchetype, whatever you want to call it. I cover the same stuff with a bit more of a pop girly lens. I will be honest. I'm trying to grab some of the normies to the left. Recently, I did some House of the Dragon stuff, which we'll be covering soon. But I am also sadly British. I won't say I'm also sadly transgender. I'm proudly transgender. That's I'm proud of that more than being British for sure. But yeah, and this is the LWTM podcast where we're all trans, we're all open about it, and we are proud of that. So today, let's talk. I'm just trying to set up some stuff that is now available to set up. Now it's live. But so what should we talk? Did you want to talk about Keir Starmer first, and then Soul Bunny can definitely take the floor because you want to talk about some great other bits like that. But yeah, like I can add a bit to the Keir Starmer stuff. Too British. It's too real. True. Very true. I wonder what's happening. Oh my God. Mm. That's a statement. Yeah, that's compared to Liz Truss, that's like insane, but that's true. Sorry. Mm. I didn't know that actually that bit, but I will just say like when Keir Starmer got in, I remember believing so like naively, okay, this is a moment for the left. This is they're gonna do some good, and it was like they did nothing if not made it worse. But yeah, that just came to mind while you said that. So sorry to interrupt you. Do carry on. Of course. I think it was LBC. Yeah. 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 Yes.
Before that, he was a human rights lawyer. And in fact, if you watch the genocide trials for Yugoslavia, you can see him on taking Croatia's side in that. He actually tried to get Serbia done for genocide against Croatia. So he definitely knows what these things mean. He knows how it's happened, and he fought against it before in court, apparently. Sinan says he's a human rights lawyer in the sense that you need someone in court to argue against human rights. And yes, that is exactly what he's become.
Yes. He's played the other side now. I've just realised
exactly, yeah, you
I think the audio
playing both
wasn't playing
sides.
on my
You can always
stream.
come out on top. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, my bad. I just think the audio wasn't playing on my stream. I don't even know if my stream has gone live. I'm sorry to just pause just for a second because I
Yeah, no worries.
I'm so sorry.
Before that, he was a human rights lawyer. In fact, we're good.
Sorry. Yeah. Now we have sound on my stream. I was wondering why no one's jumping in. But well, we'll just completely carry on. Yeah, and I remember because I watched your video about saying that. It was just saying about how he was basically on the right side of things with Iran before. If that's what I kind of maybe misunderstood or something. But like he was a human rights lawyer. Yeah, he was a human rights lawyer when it was basically in the past on the right side of things. But now it's happening with Israel. He's completely not holding up to his same moral stances from before, and it's kind of like, well, there's obviously because of Israel, but then it does from other stuff he's done as well. It does kind of have a sense of similar to like Trump, like there is some kind of leverage being made against him. I don't know, but that's my vibe. But maybe I'm.
I mean, his turn was actually fairly a lot sooner. So he was very involved in like prosecuting the London riots and making a lot of like say black people rightly angry about the murder of Mark Duggan. Yeah. And basically making sure they go to jail for long periods of time for doing very petty crimes. So he's been doing this kind of just explicitly racist shit for a while. So he was a human rights lawyer in the past, but that sort of thing is long behind him. And Sin's pointing out the chat that he also famously represented Silvio Berlusconi. If you don't know, that was Italy's famously corrupt former prime minister and actually sort of the proto-Trump. Really, it's very Trump one coded.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. Terrible. And then obviously we have Palestine Action and the crackdowns on that, and the crackdowns on free speech in general. Yeah, trying to get rid of jury trials. They can do people who protested for Palestine and put them in prison for what they actually got 14 years, I believe, for terrorism, for spray painting a plane. Absolutely crazy stuff. And that's not even mentioning the trans stuff. So the bathroom ban under Keir Starmer. He kept the puberty blockers ban from the Tories and extended it. That was meant to be like a temporary thing. He's made it permanent now. Education reform, so making sure that trans kids get outed to their parents, making sure you can't talk about trans people in school, and the bathroom ban, and pushing through the bathroom ban and being very, very friendly with that kind of thing and those kind of people. So good riddance. He will not be missed, but also it might not be much better from here because Andy Burnham's like to be very similar. And then he's also, one of the things he's done is that all of these crackdowns on civil liberties and crackdowns on free speech will be used very much by Nigel Farage, who is likely our next prime minister and who is an outright fascist. So he's just given him the tools. He doesn't even need to set the precedents anymore. He can just go in and now just attack his political opponents on spurious grounds.
It's like the reverse of how Trump in the US is doing a bunch of things that gives more power to the government, which people are saying hopefully the Democrats can take advantage of. So it's like the opposite here. It's like the red carpet of fascism is just being laid out in front of Nigel and he barely has to move his racist ass to get to it. But so I wanted to ask this about Andy Burnham. He's obviously establishment, like the similar level of not going to do anything Labour, but like, is there any hope? That that's the worst way to ask him. Like, is he a good guy or is he just a piece of shit as well?
Ish. Not really, no. But I don't want to give no hope yet, just in case. But no. But there could be. No. Before I get there, just while it's on my mind, because you brought up the American comparison, what I actually was going to bring up is that it's actually very, very Biden coded, extremely Biden coded. Comes in on basically like being like, oh, these people were horrible, we're going to give people hope. Comes in, spends basically the majority of his time, and in Biden this is much more like the second half of his administration, cracking down on pro-Palestine protests, enabling the genocide, and just setting a precedent that like you can just attack protesters, you can just like shut these things down and everyone will be fine with it, which is something that Trump has used. Although America's always had that element, really wasn't really setting a precedent quite as firmly as he is. With Andy Burnham, he won't be a leftist. He won't be a leftist. There is a chance he will be not as awful, but it really depends on who he listens to And that will be, and what will be emblematic of that is who he picks as his chancellor, who's basically, for Americans that don't know, is basically the person that controls like the money, like a minister of finance or something like that. And he came in saying he was going to pick Ed Miliband. Now, Ed Miliband is probably the only person in the cabinet with a soul. So if he did pick him, that would be a good sign.
It's a start. Yeah.
Listen, I have a soft spot for Ed Miliband. I know. Call me a liberal. He's not my favorite person in the world, but he still has a soul, and he likes green energy, and I like it when the planet works, when the planet is alive. He won't be great, but compared to the other options, I will fucking take it. The other people that apparently he's considering is Wes Streeting, who is the architect of all of this transphobic shit.
He's going to say he's the transphobe.
Yeah, horrendous. Shabana Mahmood, who is the current Home Secretary, I believe. She's the one doing all these crackdowns on on immigration and being as cruel as possible to immigrants. And there's a couple other options people are throwing their hat in, but if he picks Ed Miliband, it might be not quite as awful.
A shred of hope, yeah.
If he doesn't, it's just going to be exactly the same. And by exactly the same, I mean it's going to get worse, because the stuff they set in motion, you're going to need to start undoing some of that if it's going to get any better at all.
It's all going on a downward hill, and yeah, I completely agree. Oh god, I don't even know what to say. Like it's like a creator online that like covers left stuff. It's like, how many videos can I make? Be like, it's getting real bad, guys. It's getting real bad out there. What screw everything. Like, I've lost all faith in electoral politics. Yeah. What? I mean, how many prime ministers have we gone through now? Like, the fact that we've had so many prime ministers in the UK has become a meme in itself, which is then something so hard to escape, because like I remember talking about this for the last couple of years. Like, Liz Truss lasted a few, weeks? She didn't outlive a lettuce. Like, that will go down in UK history. And now we've got Keir Starmer barely lasted his term. Like, I think, like, I see that, and I don't know if this is like a bit of a jump. I don't know if this is a bit of like a online lefty thinks they're saying something smart when they're not. But like, I feel like the neoliberal project is coming to an end. It cannot be sustained. It has to choose. You choose barbarism, you choose fascism, or you don't, and you backtrack and you aim drastically towards socialism and like progressivism. And all of these prime ministers that have come in are just trying to either maintain the wheel or not do anything, but the wheel is still turning, going downhill. Like, do you know what I mean? Does that sound
no,
like
absolutely. And I absolutely agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. And it's one of these, it is one of these things that, you know, because austerity hasn't worked, because like neoliberalism has completely fucked us, like with Reagan in the US and like Thatcher in the UK, completely stripped the welfare state, make it really hard to do anything, just crackdowns. And then you come in and people like, you know, listen, I can't afford to pay rent. I can't afford my energy bills, and energy bills are going up massively. I can't afford food. And especially now with the Strait of Hormuz closed and stuff, the energy price is going to go way up. Everything's going to get way worse. Fertilizer's about to run out. It's going to get real bad in that respect. And what is their solution to that? They don't really have one. And one of the things that is interesting is that Liz Truss came in basically saying, I am the radical right. I'm going to do the solution to this. And her solution was basically doing supercharged neoliberalism. So she would like borrow a lot to basically just
she tanked the stock market, didn't she? Like one day or some shit. Like,
yeah. But yeah, and it's genuinely crazy but they don't have a solution. So when Keir Starmer came in, their idea is they are the middle managers. They'll come in, and if someone just manages it right, it'll be fine. If they just have the right manager, everything will get better. But that's clearly not how these things work. You have to actually have a plan. You have to actually look at the material conditions and actually try and work out and improve them. But they don't have any interest in that, so they just didn't even bother trying. I don't think Burnham will do a lot of it. He's got some plans. Let's see if they work. Let's see if he has bigger plans that would actually work, because the current stuff he has is not like a whole lot. I mean, there's other devolution stuff that's nothing to do with actually solving anything. If you have to make investments and stuff like that, and there's a whole restructuring the economy you actually have to do. Like, you have to choose socialism, and to some extent, at least, because people are suffering.
That's,
you know.
So,
but yeah, they're not willing to do it.
For sure. What do you think about UK politics? I mean, obviously we'll get to like stuff you're going to come in a second. But I feel like we're just chatting away, leaving you out. What?
Yeah.
Any
What I wanted to
ideas?
ask Solvani actually is like, what have you heard? What's been your impression over there of Keir Starmer? Do they talk about him over there? Do they not know who he is at all?
Honestly, this my depiction of him is just an incompetent leader, or just another incompetent leader. Like honestly, like that's because they don't really go deep into his failures, so I don't really know what he's done wrong, other than just like he's obviously incompetent. He's obviously like that's like what the like my takeaway based on what everyone is saying about him is that he's an incompetent leader, and they basically he was so incompetent he had to resign.
Yeah.
And that's basically from my American perspective. That's as far as like as I know of it. But you give more of like the context that like I'm missing as an American, and the other audiences that are also American.
I do feel like Trump has been he like belittles Keir Starmer because he doesn't follow quite like Keir Starmer's like stuck between a rock and a hard place, but in like stuck between being someone with a soul and not. But like by having to like follow under Trump's reign, almost like a little lapdog. He's like not respected by Trump, but also like hasn't done his bidding either, so he doesn't like him. Like I don't know, it feels like two like people in the school bully yard. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Trump's like if he does
with Trump, you have to be a loyalist.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, with Trump, you have to
like
be a loyalist.
Well. There's no
if you say jump, you say how high.
Yeah,
that's how Trump works. So,
did you see that clip actually, somebody? There was that clip of them. They were like a leaders conference. I think it was like a G20 or something, or it was one of these big leaders conferences with all the world leaders. And Donald Trump says, he turns around, he looks at his Tom, he's like, United Kingdom, come forward. He just calls him United Kingdom, and he makes him step forward, and he thinks he's about to be like called up, and he looks so proud, he's so happy for his daddy to call him in. He's like, oh, it's me, and then he turns around, and he just goes, Stem, he's like, go back, like sit back down. It was so fucking funny, just utterly humiliated. He doesn't remember the guy's name. And this is after as well, like when Donald Trump picked his papers, and there's a famous picture in the UK of Donald Trump drops his papers and he just leaves them for him to pick up. And he lets Starmer get on his knees and picks up all of his papers for him and hands them back to him. And that's very emblematic of their relationship.
Yeah, and that literally represents what they're like, doesn't it? Yeah. But this is the thing. You can't
there's a certain point.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry. There was a certain point where they tried to, because there was, when he started to get unpopular, they were trying to work out, well, what's his actual niche? Maybe he could be like a wartime prime minister, and he's terrible in domestic front, but maybe he'll be really good. And he went out and he said, I am the Trump whisperer. I'm the only one that can talk to Donald Trump. He really likes me and understands me. And it was such a funny thing to say for someone who Donald Trump obviously does not respect and only thinks is funny in the respect that he thinks he's just sucking up to him.
He has no idea who he is. Yeah, I imagine he's got like a flower and he's like, he knows my name, he knows it not. He knows my name, he knows it not.
Yeah. Well, also, the ultimate humiliation is Trump. Sorry, 1 second. I'll let you in a second. I just have to say, Trump actually, in the ultimate expression of this, Donald Trump actually stole Keir Starmer's resignation announcement. He announced his resignation before Keir Starmer could do it himself.
Yeah, I can imagine
like on Truth Social, Donald Trump posted Keir Starmer's going to resign.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, yeah. I can't imagine what it's
sorry,
like
Solvani.
being a global like leader with Trump there. But yeah, so tell us it from the other side. So go ahead, Solvani.
I'll just segue. I think a good way to segue, since we're talking about Trump, it's a good time to talk about America, including all this. So there's a lot of things that just happened. First, how everyone was their Pride? What anything y'all did for Pride Month? Because I have some things to say about American things that happened. So I want y'all to tell me what y'all did for Pride first.
I'll go first.
Start on the positive note.
Mine's short, but yeah. So for Pride, content-wise, I tried to get like a couple specifically Pride-oriented videos out. Pride this month for me, what did it look like? So we live in rural Japan, so it's not like there's much of a Pride event to go to, but not to get too like genuine and gross, but this Pride for me has been a little bit of a sense of rediscovery in myself and my transness and my like identity. I've just been feeling very like, you know, like the proud you feel as a trans person. And there's like it's like a different taste of pride. It's like there was this clip of who was it talking about so there's a new video from Dr. Fatima. Let me just have this 2 seconds. Dr. Fatima is talking about like the Nazi book burnings and how trans people are like selected and like targeted first. And it just left me with a sense of like, we are that small percent that challenge the gender binary of society, and that the right wing cannot stand because by our own definitions as identities, we push the boundaries. So I've just been kind of like feeling that and just like feeling my oats. Sorry, that's a really weird answer. I haven't really had much else going on, but I just wanted to say that. So pride for me this month has been very internal, and it's literally been about pride. Sorry. You go ahead, Bridget. That was my weird answer.
That's cool. So I went to Trans Pride Nottingham for the first time, which I'd never been to before. I went to Trans Pride in Liverpool when I was there. But this is the first time being in my hometown, which I don't believe had one until quite recently. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I mean, the march was all right. There was speeches. Some of the speeches were really good and important. One of them was just holding up a blahai or blowhai, however you're supposed to pronounce that,
Oh yeah,
and
I've
telling
got
people
him
to
somewhere.
clap for the I've got one over there as well, but telling people to clap for the IKEA shark, which was very strange. Also, they had like no POC speakers, which is odd because they could have easily found those. But that's like a continuing problem in the city, sort of not trans pride scene and the pride scene in general, is they don't look for those when they should. Yeah, that was fun. Hung out with people there. Was supposed to go to a friend's party that night, and I felt like absolute shit, so I didn't go. So, but I still went. First trans pride in my city, my hometown where I grew up. Trying to integrate myself back into the community here, so it's a good step. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice questions, Albany. Thank you.
For me, I celebrate only Juneteenth. So I kind of, but I went to San Diego in their queer district, and so yeah, so I went to their best gay clubs for Juneteenth. So I got to celebrate both being trans and a Black woman, and that was pretty fun. There was a lot of it was pretty fun. So that's mostly what I did. With that being said, so at the end of Pride on the 30th, aka yesterday, or was the day before yesterday? It's either yesterday or the day before yesterday. The Supreme Court decided to ban trans women, trans girls from sports, particularly targeting trans femmes. And that's how they wrapped up our Pride Month. Along with, I mean, they were trying to snatch away birthright citizenship, but by a hair, it that didn't get taken away. But it's just kind of
it's crazy.
Yeah, they're escalating things, and all I see is another state trying to bring something up to have another chance to run at it. I mean, that's what they did with affirmative action. They just kept trying with new cases until they got the answer that they wanted. They got the result they wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy who did that was Edward Bloom, some guy who was mad that he lost a race in Houston in the 90s, early 90s. And ever since he lost that, he tried to take it to the Supreme Court and said that he was being racially gerrymandered. Mind you, they fucking segregated Black people to Houston and Texas purposely. So it's just like, what do you mean? Like, you're trying to use a history of them trying to redline Black people in a way for you to play victim because you didn't win the Black voters in Houston.
Yeah.
So ever since he lost that race in the 90s, he's made it his mission to go after anything related to Black people, from action, anything that benefits Black people, he's going after. And so that's what I'm trying to say. So we got people like him. I can see them keep trying and trying until they get the answer, or who knows? There's like a retire. It's one of one of them is going to retire soon. There's I think two actually. So we're in a really weird place.
I'm sorry to
But
hear
what
that.
I will
Yeah,
say, the
they
good
announced
aspect.
that Alito was off, right? They announced that Alito was going to retire, or they tried to announce it, and then the newspaper council got deleted.
Yeah, but I mean that'll come up eventually, whenever it comes naturally. But at least they now know they anticipate. They're looking for new judges. That's kind of they're at that stage. Like they know it's coming, so they're looking at who's the best person that's going to kiss ass and do what they want them to do, because they're mad at the other few two they got in that don't always um, align with the Republicans. Sometimes you get the weird cases where any Coney Barrett will just like, you know what, that's a little far. Not on my watch. I'm still a white woman. Let me stand up a little bit. Here and there, she, her white feminism come out when we need it the most. But
Bare minimum.
sometimes,
I
just sometimes.
I mean, one of the scariest parts of that decision, right, is there's basically like they like birthright citizenship stayed by like one vote. They're like one off, if I'm
Oh,
right,
did it?
which
Oh
is
my god.
Yeah,
really
exactly. It was
scary.
5-4.
When you said
It
by,
was
yeah,
five
I didn't know
four.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
that
what I
much.
mean.
Oh my god. That's,
Yeah,
I mean, and
so that's what I mean.
this is how far the American project has come, because it's 250 years, which was celebrated so abysmally, I saw. But that's like one of the main founding constitutional pillars, is it not? That like that was what was founded when America, the country, was like drawn out of thin air.
Well,
Like,
when you got a dictator as a president who don't give a damn about no law, no constitution,
yeah,
no nothing, he don't give a damn.
it doesn't give a shit.
So that's where we are. I mean, they're over here making
Crazy.
Michelle Obama jokes. Michelle Obama is a man. The stupid freaking UFC fighter. Like, they was like, what the hell does she got to do? She invited her damn business. She hasn't been the first lady since they're 20 fucking
Literally.
what 2016 before they had to pass off the damn
She's just
power
living
in
her
January
life.
27th. Like
Absolutely.
literally, it's been a decade. She and just felt the need. That's why I'm like, I've been irritated. They've been irritated the fuck out of me. Like, I'll be real. I was over here sleepy because I had 8 before here, and I'm over here now wide awake because I remember this shit pissed me off. Actually, just fucking with her, and it's just they fucking with us. They just randomly bringing us up. Just like that was a blow at us as well. So, and them being them pushing misogynoir, accusing a black woman of being a man, aka a trans woman. It was a double mammy. They went and punched down on us as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, this is some old like fucking 2012 conspiracy theories from Christian nationalists that were afraid of Obama being black, so he was the Antichrist type of
And
shit.
also,
that goes back to that. It's that.
It just shows you as well how much they live with this thing in their heads. Like, no one is thinking about that anymore. Like, even on the left, we don't think about Michelle Obama in the same way. She was like first lady when she was. No one is thinking about that. Like him, he had the mic. This is that guy in the boxing ring or whatever, right? He had anything he could say, and that's what comes out of his mouth. Why is he still thinking about that? Like why is he even thinking about trans women in that moment, or Michelle Obama? Like, it, to me, it does come across as like fetishization, like closeted like thoughts or anything like that. Like, I know people, there's a thing of like, don't just call all of the bullies, they're not like closeted gay people, but like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, you are thinking about trans women more than trans women are. Like, what are you doing? Get over it. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you
it's
didn't
crazy to
see
me.
Chud the Builder, he just got outed.
As I saw,
I mean,
stating it. Yeah,
you
I
saw
didn't
that
see this. Please enlighten me. I need to know this. I need to know.
Some white trans girl that knew he was a racist was fucking on him. That's the most. That's as quick as I could give you a summary.
Well put.
But she posted the receipts.
Yeah.
She posted photos of him kissing her cheek and whatnot.
Oh,
and
they love the dolls. All of them love the dolls. Apparently, like Clavicula as well. Do you both know Clavicula? He was out in a club recently, and there was a woman who, it turns out she was a cis woman anyway, but chat be chatting in his chat. They were investigating her, but like, he leans in and he's like, I'm sorry to ask, like, I know this is insulting, but chat are asking, I have to check, like, are you a trans woman? Which is also just such a dystopian moment. Imagine if you're at a bar and someone asks, like, I have thousands of people on a chat that need to just double check that you are a woman before I kiss you. Like, there is nothing there. Talk about the ick. But then so she said, apparently,
I have seen.
Oh yeah, apparently she said no. She is.
Was it the French girl? Was it the blonde French girl?
Yeah, she's like a blonde model or something.
I have seen he's now trying to turn it around because there's a whole thing about the other looks maxer. I don't know why we're getting into this, but it's really funny to me. This other looks maxer, like androgenic, is now trying to be the woke looks maxer. So he's been going around like being like all nice to trans people, and like they've been like,
Is this the
and
one
now
that
Cliff
Hassan
Victor's been like, actually, I
defended?
would make out with a trans woman as long as she's hot, and it's like, this is crazy to me.
I just can't.
Oh, when he said his little Pride Month supportive thing, like, why you hated on them? Like, they're minding their own. Actually, I'm so surprised. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay.
We'll take it.
You know,
We're desperate.
but yeah,
We'll take it.
you saw that
We'll take
comment. He's like, why you hate on them? Like, they're minding their business. I wouldn't hear what he said, but like
He said
he's
there were
like,
like looks maxing is about optimizing, and trans women are optimizing, and it's
With
like,
the
yeah, I
original
get it.
optimizers. Yeah, T. Oh my god. Anyway, what was it? Back to Trump? Back to the US?
no, yeah, sorry.
I mean,
that was
how-
that was
yeah.
our pop moment.
You were saying
He was a
about
model for the night.
you were saying about
I
how
do think it shows how stuck they are in the past, though, because they're still talking about Michelle Obama. And this is the common thing across a lot of people in power now, right? Is that like they're still stuck in this moment where they thought they were winning. It's like, well, you know, when we said all this racist, sexist shit about Michelle Obama, that was then we won. That's when Trump won, and that's when everyone really liked us. And I feel like it's the same thing with like a lot of the Starmer people getting on, bringing that back a second. Because a lot of these people are still stuck in like the 1997 New Labour victory from ages ago. They're like, well, if we just do the same things we did then everyone will like us. It's like, well, no, it's been 30 years and a lot of things have fucking changed and the material conditions have changed. And it's like, people forget, like, you know, when Trump came back in, a lot of the people that voted for him are the younger ones, I guess, not the older ones. They didn't remember what it was like the first time. They're not necessarily cool with all that shit. And it's like a completely different sort of era. And they're just acting like they can just do this and that everyone will just be fine with it. And it's just, it sounds completely fucking alien. And it did before. It did before, but it's just, you know, it's just not one of these things that people can do. Sorry,
because I'm gonna have to keep going because I need to lay down. I'm a little lightheaded, but what I will say is, I don't know if you guys know Cenk Lang. He's like equivalent to like the Nick Shirley type that was accusing Somalis in Minneapolis of using daycares. And that's what got the ICE to go there. It was based off some stupid lie, some pseudo journalist, not a real journalist, none of that. But his equivalent, the other one like that is Cenk Lang. He got banned in Texas. He just got out of jail. You know where he went and took his ass to LA to go protest the BET Awards.
Oh my god!
Now I don't know if you know what the BET Awards are, right?
Yeah.
He was outside protesting, saying with the most racist signs in his hand, provoking Black people to assault him. But he did find the right LA person that did win and just pack him up real quick and snatch that sign up and let him know you ain't gonna be doing that over here. Okay, you found the right one. And he over here started running. You know, he went from over here to do both, just started running. We tried to snatch that sign. They snatched that sign out his damn hand. And he started thinking about them punches to start running. But he was over here saying Black people failed as parents, the worst parents in the world. Like these kind of really just very outlandish, very just like
tropes.
I was trying to like provoke, you know, Black people with like racial stereotypes, but like, you know, exaggerated to the extreme on like big ass signs. And he over here with like a bullet vest. Thinking there are no guns in California. Okay, nobody got guns in California. We don't got guns. He with his damn bullet. That's why they was punching him in his face, tearing him up. They said we don't need no guns to handle you. And that's when he started running. And he started feeling them hands. And it was funny because he was acting scary because I don't know how tall he is, but some like 6'4" Black guy sitting up to him like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's when he started running. Because he realized he wasn't the tallest person in the room no more.
Incredible.
And,
before you go, Sylvan, do you want to talk about DSA?
Yeah,
that's
a good endpoint. So right now, Mondani, so there's like multiple candidates, not just these. So Mondani, I believe last week endorsed 3 social democrat candidates and in New York, and they all won, which shook the table for both the right and the left. The Democrat centrists, the corporate Democrats are all bitching on the news, on every station, all like afraid that socialism is going to take over. And they're using the same talking points that the right wingers are using, and they're freaking out. They're doing the most, but they're having the Senate leaders of like the Republican Party leaders in the Senate having meetings like we can't let them take over the Democrat Party, and like they're freaking out. They're thinking they're about to lose this midterms. So there's just a lot of this shakeup, and then what yesterday, a 29-year-old took a 33-year seat candidate out her damn seat, and what's it called, Colorado, snatched her out.
We love to see it.
So, and then someone else. So I think in total it's been 5 Democrat socialists who just swept, and that is good news because I think even though we need to go further than Democrat socialists, but it's a step in a direction where we're in the 11th hour. And people are finally getting it together at the 11th hour. I know it sucks, but you know, at least they started with the midterms. Because once we get to 2028, I mean, it is going to be the election of all elections. The world will be watching because both the Republican and the Democrats have started from scratch. Both parties, there's no incumbents. It's just and that is going to be the biggest Democrat primary of they're going to be scheming and scamming as much as you know, so you got to prepare for all that. That's going to be the most scheming DSA of all. They're going to show their ass.
Scandals that are going to come out, they're like personal.
It's going to be pre-rigged.
It's going to be drama.
This
the last season of America.
What they're going to pull to stop heresy winning? We're going to find out, right? Like it's going to be crazy what they pull off.
It's going to be crazy.
It's the games of DNC. That's what you're going to be seeing. The games of DNC.
But like, I think like
the way.
Just the feeling is also that like the boundaries of democracy in the US, which to me globally as well is a bit of a facade. Like it's meant to facilitate the assumption that the people are free, but they're not. But like that is now, it looks like with the DSA and from like Zoran and everything is pushing the boundary of that. And I'm like, will it break through or will it like be snapped back and they just we'll get see, like right? Completely and I guess that's what we're going to see.
I mean, it's one of these things, right? You know, like Zoran himself said, right? So like, oh sorry, please.
Okay, I'll just add my predictions real quick. My predictions is it's not just better late than never. It's not just, it is 11th hour. Let's be real. It is 11th hour. Let's be real here. It is the 11th hour. We needed this wave back in 2022, 2020. But anyways, we're having these candidates that are winning. That means remember we have the progressive 5. We call them the progressive. It's not 5 no more. So I think we get enough Democrats that win, Democrat socialists that win within this primary, within this midterm. And there's a couple other elections still popping up, special elections. Someone might resign, someone might pass away because they're so old, etc. There's so many opportunities. By the time it's 2028, there's going to be the most amount of Democrat socialists and progressives within the American Congress Party and the Senate ever, where they can all come together. There's enough of them to come together to put their support behind a candidate that people, because before Bernie only had like 3-4 starting. He had Ro Khanna, he had AOC, and several others. Elon Omar and several others. But putting aside that, we don't just have them no more. We have just a new wave of freshman socialists that came in, and I think just the midterm numbers enough. That's enough to get all of them get together, especially if it's like in total 10 of them plus 10 candidates coming together for a 2028 candidate. That is power. Let alone the people who are going to be winning special elections between their candidates pass out, pass away, resign, whatnot. Especially with like, there's going to be there was a handful of Republican candidates that said if they lose badly on this midterms, they're what's it called? They're resigning.
Yeah.
And so if we make that happen, especially places like Texas where James Talarico is running, and if he wins that seat, whatnot, that's the Senate seat. That's less power for the Republicans. So it will probably push people to, at least a couple people to resign. You know, we already had Marjorie Taylor Greene, the craziest one of them all. I mean, they'll rather let the sink, separate themselves from Trump and then come back. There's enough of them that want to do that, and those are the seats that probably Democrat socialists will snatch up. The DNC
Yeah.
DNC has more power than ever, and it's growing. And I think finally people are. I think what it is that America has a literacy problem, a literacy crisis, and people are finally becoming literate enough to know there's better than liberal for the first time, and they're seeing that Democrat socialist exists, and to them that's as far left as it gets, but they're learning that and they're voting for it, and so it's really is better late than never. But they're finally seeing there are other options than just Democrat, corporate Democrats, because of, and really what opened it up was Palestine and them calling out them for what they are, and that really exposed it. And that movement is what's bringing in more younger voters who were disenfranchised, had just thought they'd put their hands up like they don't care. They found a candidate that does care, and we're winning by 1 or 2%. A lot of these, some of these elections, they win by 1 or 2%, and that's all you need. So we're all, I think, that's what we need to win in a primary. And I think, I'm gonna be honest, it can't be a white man. It can't, because you know why? Because we can't have Bernie Bro 3.0 at this point, because we need someone like Mondani, who didn't think of black people as an afterthought once he won the primary. We need someone who realized you can't win the primary without having everyone on board, not treating us like an afterthought and then get surprised we don't vote for you when you don't. When you talk really funny about a lot of black issues or you avoid things. And Bernie had a really bad take on reparations. He's like, what do you mean? Verbatim, what do you mean?
Even his, like,
I mean, it's going to be AOC, right? It's almost certainly going to be AOC.
I think it has to be AOC. Like, I not to be too witchy on the chat, not to be too witchy on the pod, okay? I try and keep that shit to myself. I've had like mini premonitions of AOC being the next president. And also, this is coming from
yesterday.
No, this is coming from.
She said yesterday they asked her she's running, right? They asked her if she was running for president yesterday, and she refused to deny it, and that's basically confirmation that she's going to do it.
But I also think that there is enough momentum that she could win, because I don't know shit. I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but with like, if there's another 4-year demographic of the older people passing on and younger people voting, right? So like from the previous like election 2 years ago, there's like a 4-year on thing, but also like, I think like even in those 4 years, we've moved way past the whole like Brat Summer, Harris thing. Like people are even different from then. People are like, fool me once. Do you know what I mean? And like
they're taking it seriously more. They're taking it a little bit more seriously, girl.
And I think all of the like
playing around with elections no more.
Exactly. The middle-aged white men that like didn't quite want to vote for Harris, they're still internally racist. They didn't want to vote, and that's like majority like what lost the election and stuff like that. I think like even a lot of those people are like anyone that can help, and like better late than never.
And one of the things with AOC as well is because she has sort of, in a lot of, I mean, I criticize her for this a lot for good reason for this, but she has sort of played safe with a lot of options, and now there's a lot of people who wouldn't even touch DSA, which fuck those people, but they vote, that would actually see her as a safe pair of hands, because they think, well, she's proven herself and she's not as radical as they say she is, so she would actually, I think, stand a good chance. But I'll be back in 1 second.
I think she's just been preparing herself to run. I think that's really what she was. I think she was playing 3D chess while people were criticizing her. Whether you agree with her or not, she was probably preparing the map to be able to run.
Yeah.
If she decided to. So I think what we're criticizing her, which we rightfully are criticizing, we don't like to see her doing that, is her making connections with people when she does decide to run. There's people who won't make them, that's not their first choice, but if she were to win the primary, they wouldn't mind bending the knee to her and falling and supporting her, especially against the Republican. They don't want the Republicans to win again. This is their chance. But I do believe that and also look at it on like a looks-maxer aspect. She's younger.
She's young.
People, they want a younger candidate, and the white man that wasn't voting for Kamala Harris, they're stupid, but I hate this about men. I hate this about white men, but they're going to say, a big booty Latina. Stupid shit, but they're going to vote for the hot Latina. They're stupid ass heads.
It's gross, but it's probably true. Like, it can be gross and true. It could be both. Yeah. No, well, didn't she get, didn't she get like an odd amount of people that voted for Trump and her or some stuff? Like there's been times when she's kind of crossed party boundaries because she looks competent. And at the end of the day, that is something people vote for. I don't know. I just have this vibe. That like it could
Plus
happen.
Latinos. I'm gonna tell you this: the Latino voters is what sway America right
That's
now
true. They
because
voted for Trump a
the
lot, didn't they, or
amount
something?
right now they
Before.
are literally like it's to the point where Black voters we need everyone included, and then we still got the Latinos that outnumber enough of us in the voter base because
Yeah,
they make because Black people only make 14% of American population. Latinos
yeah,
make I believe 22%.
right.
So
So it's way less.
that is
Yeah,
almost double of the Black
yeah.
population of voter base. So,
And
and there's a
again,
lot on the vote Trump.
and if they vote together, that then becomes like a third of the population. So it's like huge swaying power, and that's
Yeah, and they're very
maybe something AOC
nationalistic.
can
Let's
do.
be real. They love
Yeah,
seeing Hispanic, and
patriotic.
that's their one chance to get their first Hispanic president. They voted for her because I think what it is that like with Kamala Harris, there was a lot of racist Hispanic people. I'm half Mexican, so let me speak from that. There was a lot of racist Mexican people, Hispanic people that were like, oh, before the first woman of color be president, oh, it's not gonna be you. I will damn sure make sure it's not a Black woman first. It'll be a Latina before you. And that's basically they're like, I'll make sure that
Oh,
happens. That's how a lot of them went. So AOC runs the same people that say that bigoted shit, they'd be more open to like, you know what, fuck it. Like,
well,
you
and
know, and
also,
we need those
is it
little
And
is
we
it
can't really
also?
discount as well like the effect of like Gaza and stuff on like Kamala, right? And the stuff that brought her down.
Yeah,
Being attached to the Joe
yeah.
Biden administration, him saying no
fully.
daylight and her not being able to like really separate herself from him. And also her being AOC still being DSA. And so she has like a bit more left credibility than you might expect
Harris
given
did.
some of her positions,
But just to say what
I think she'll be more left than Bernie for sure. And that's the one thing we
Mm.
need, someone more progressive than Bernie. Bernie is a old white man.
oh
That
yeah,
is again
His time is definitely done. His time is done
his
for
time
sure.
is done.
Yeah.
he
He's
needs to
too
retire. He's literally like the second oldest fucking
well. I think
senator, and he just won't relinquish his power and give it. He's gonna die in power and not have a protege to pass down.
I think that might
I
also
think
be the
she's his
tipping point.
protege, to be fair. Yeah.
I agree. I think like I think a underlying thing that people are also starting to be aware of is the ageism. Obviously, like racism and misogyny and stuff like that are all key points that affect this. But like we've gone from the right wing judging Biden for being Sleepy Joe, and now Trump can't stay awake for more than 20 minutes. I think that anyone youthful might also have a bit of an edge just because they can. In a debate, it's not going to be. Imagine AOC actually debating Trump. It's not going to be a competition. Imagine AOC debating JD Vance. Like, what the hell? That
I
would
was
be
gonna say it'll be
comical
JD Vance,
gold.
and he is
He'd be like, well,
charisma vacuum.
I mean,
Charisma
AOC,
vacuum.
she
let's be
don't
clear.
back
Like,
down.
no, yeah, she's a fighter and has energy. And I think that's like super crucial.
That's the problem with Bernie. Bernie was playing little like, oh, you were good friends. He was just doing the kind of like,
Once again, it's just a bit bland. Yeah.
yeah. So he was trying to do the get along,
Yeah.
what's the word? But like AOC, like she's defended Jasmine Crockett from people being racist, and she was like, "Oh hell no, not in front of me." So she's
Yeah.
the kind of type where she's gonna call the shit out, and I think we need that
We
kind
love
of
to see it.
energy, and I think she knows not to come weak.
Yeah.
AOC knows not to come with a weak ass answer. She's not gonna have no weak ass campaign. She know to come with her best heel forwards,
Because
and
these
that's
aren't
probably what
weak
we're gonna get.
times. Because these
Yeah,
aren't civility politics times. This is a serious thing. Fascism is
yeah,
happening.
Yeah.
So, and I
exactly.
think
That's
she's
what I was trying to say. That's what
yeah.
Bernie was doing. He was doing civility politics,
He
and that's
was
why he lost.
5 years too late. Yeah. Can I, before we go, can I quickly talk about climate change?
Yes,
And on
yeah.
a high note,
For this massive
Everyone
topic,
burning
this
up.
minor thing.
it's like end on a high note, high temperature note. Yeah, no, I just want to. I'll quickly go on a House of the Dragon rant after, but there is also like I feel like we can't not say this week because we'll miss the boat, but heat waves all over the place. There's another one coming in the UK. France has hit temperatures that are crazy. In Japan, my little 2 cents from rural Japan as well. It's not been particularly hot, more hot than every year, but we've had like 2 typhoons in a small period of time. That's like uncommon. And the rain where we live on a mountain. It has been crazy every day. So much rain. You just like it doesn't stop for weeks. It's so different to like the UK where it like trickles on and off every day. I don't quite know about maybe in America what it's like if there's like full on rain days, but crazy rain. Anyway, so I again the I don't have the intellectual backing. I just have witchy vibes. I'm sorry. That's all I've got for you all. But I think that like every summer that comes and goes, I always think, is this going to be the summer that like kind of low key changes the world, because it gets to the point that, like with Israel Palestine, where you had this quite literally black and white depiction of media that will lie to you and media that will have to tell you the truth, and people see that and they're like, oh, so this media isn't trustworthy because they are just lying. I feel like we're going to have the same with climate change now, where it's like media and any kind of organization that just isn't telling you how bad things are with the climate is going to lose credibility. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, apparently there's like no one's covering all of this heatwave stuff in mainstream media, and I think that that's going to become undeniable. Like, it's crazy how that we're still living in this like fake world of it all. Does that make sense?
I mean,
Yeah,
this
don't
heat
you
wave,
guys have
especially
more
in the
deaths
UK,
about
felt.
heat? Sorry, I was going to say this real
Sorry.
quick. Don't you have more deaths from heat than gun violence in America? Apparently, that's
Yeah.
crazy
Easily.
to me. That as an American, that's crazy to hear when I heard that statistic.
It's just not facilitated
Yeah.
for it. People don't
Well,
have aircon. People
Y'all
don't
need
know
AC.
how to deal with
I'm
it.
sorry, y'all have to find a way to find a to put away the fans. The AC is equivalent to the 10 fans.
I mean, listen, I'll explain to you why this is, because I feel like a lot of American discourse misses actually like why this discussion is
Let's debunk
happening.
it.
Also, people go
Let's-
back and forth on Twitter. Let me explain this on, because the climate, like this heat wave, did feel actually existential. Like I was lying in there and I felt like I was actually dying.
Mm.
I did get disease afterwards, but also like it's so fucking humid here, and when it's that hot, it was like almost 40 degrees at some point. I think it was like real close, and
It's crazy.
you cannot escape it. It's so humid. You open the window, it's just wet, so you can't really get stuff out. There's no cooling down, and yeah, no one has AC. Like, so where I'm living in this loft, it's like properly like it just heats up. It's like a greenhouse. It's cooking you alive, and like, so one of the reasons people don't have AC in this country, obviously, because so we grew like we have it gets hot like for a week a year, so
Yeah.
people are not getting this. Now it seemed like it's worth it for that, right? There's two problems for this: is that AC is really expensive over here, and people have no fucking money. Like people have really low purchasing power, really like way less than you'd think.
For something as
Like
big as
a lot
well.
of Americans are shocked by how much British people earn. Like it's quite low. And it's very, very expensive, and then you have to install it and all this stuff. And a lot of these houses, there's no room for it. They're very old. They're not built for the things. But you can try and you can build a mini one or something like that if you want to, right? It'd be a good idea if everyone got like a mini one, like a portable one you can put through the window with like a funnel or whatever. I've seen people do that. Also expensive. The other thing is that UK, especially the UK, out of everywhere in the West, is the energy prices are insane.
Yeah.
Genuinely
I've got so much
insane.
to say about this. Carry on.
Yeah, you get like people getting like bills at over £1,000 fucking pounds,
Mm.
which is I think $2,100 or something like that, like a month.
That's
for electricity.
insane.
Insane.
Yeah,
And it's like-
exactly. And people just can't. People already can't afford this. And then and when you running these like heaters off the electricity, with these things off the electricity, which you'd have to because a lot of people can't get them installed in, you're already paying like 500 to 1,000 to more pounds. I've seen them going for 3,000 for even the portable ones, which people can't afford. And then you're going to be paying way too much on top of that for everything. And it's just a complete mess. Now, what you could do is get the government to subsidize these things, or to actually control people's energy bills, nationalize the energy companies, make us subsidize them and get everyone to have fucking AC is what they should do. They're not fucking doing that. They don't give a shit. In fact, what they decide is going to get less energy subsidies. They're going to take the cost down. Yeah, that's like during the heat wave, when this whole thing, they're gonna make it even worse. So it's a uniquely awful position to be in that respect. And that's there's seen a lot of over Europe, but in the UK particularly, the energy bills are just. It's a crisis that's been ongoing for a while. Yeah,
It's crazy. I've got so much to say about this, because this is also people are dying from this. This is not just like again. It's crazy to imagine that in countries that are used to this level of heat and stuff, but people are dying from this, and it's going to get progressively worse. And another heat wave coming existentially is going to affect people, like Bridget just quite rightly said. But like, people are not used to this, and so bear in mind like the architecture in a lot of UK and like European buildings and stuff like that is the key difference is to last the winter. is to stay warm as much as you can during the winter, because the summers are much like softer. Like Bridget said, like there's like one weekend a year that's hot, and it's like everyone goes out to the beach anyway. That's about to change. Whereas like, so this house we bought in Japan is the absolute opposite. You are screwed in winter. You're going to be cold. Girl, wear 3 pairs of socks and a jumper, get over it. This house is designed to last through really hot, humid summers. So like the Japanese house is like raised off the floor with air vent built underneath the ground, just the ground, and you're like living in a box that's like suspended outside of like the floor and stuff like that, so that air can just pass through your whole house. You can open all the doors. That's why all these things are just doors. So when it's hot, you can open every door. You can basically live in a wooden shed. It's designed to last through the summer, whereas the UK is completely opposite. So like, from as someone British that like has experienced both of this, I remember that when it hit 42, I think it was like a couple years ago in the UK, it was just before we moved out here, there were like toiletries that were going wrong, like that were like going rotten because they weren't designed to be that hot in the UK, and I couldn't keep them cool enough. Like there's going to be like crazy backlog, but like you said, everyone here has aircon. Every train you go on, every building you go into, the aircon is pumping for like as long as it needs to be. But also, you can have like renewable energy to fuel that aircon. Like obviously that's like the end goal. So it doesn't even add to the long-term problem as much, generally. But what I think, like you said, the UK is also the infrastructure of how the bills and stuff and how the energy is created is so archaic that that's not even going to be a solution. Does that make sense? So like,
I was about
basically
to say the same thing. Yeah,
saying all of you said, but like
so
there is, we have like massive solar panels in our town. We have like energy. So, I mean, Japan isn't great at being self-sufficient anyway, but it's like it knows it has to be, which I think is the difference. The UK has never been challenged to this, but so like. What worries me is that like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've got family that when I bring up the climate change, they kind of roll their eyes and they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's been warm before. I'm like, you're facing your third heat wave, and you're talking about it used to be warm in the history. Like, read a book. Like, so I really
the
low-key worry about the
hottest
UK.
days on record are all the last few years. Like it's like one day in 1976, and then it's all the last few years. You're right about the electric. I was about to bring this energy bill. Sorry, very very quick while I'm remembering, because the energy bills are set by the price of natural gas. So it doesn't matter how much solar panels or wind farms you build, because they set the price by natural gas prices.
Crazy.
And then they
our electricity bill compare, like we have like, computers running, aircon running when we need it. We try and be as good as we can, obviously, but we live a comfortable life out here, and our electricity bill, I kid you not, is like £20 a month. Electricity bill is like 20, 25. It's crazy low, because we live in rural Japan. Like all of our bills are low, but like we have like family that talk about their electricity bills being like thousands, and it's like it's just unsustainable to also then add on aircon. Sorry, we're going well off on it, but I really worry. I worry about how it's going to go down, because this is like, unfortunately, I think with the climate crisis, it's going to take one of the global powers to be truly affected by it for, unfortunately, I think, change to happen. I don't think that's okay. I think India is already, we're seeing like desertification in countries in the Middle East, with India's hit by far hotter temperatures than the UK could ever handle. And I obviously the ideal would be that it all gets resolved before that has already happened. It's already happening. Do you know what I mean? People are already being affected it for years now. But I think like it needs America or the UK or something to go through some serious change for the public perception to be like, okay, this has to happen. This has to change. Unfortunately, I don't know. Maybe that's.
I think the public perception's been there for a while. It's a political will. Yeah. It's a political will, and it has been for a very long time.
Yeah, true.
And maybe, like the other thing as well is that is green energy seen as China. True. China makes the solar panels. China makes the wind farms. And like Trump was saying when he got in initially, he was like, well, why would you want renewable? Why do you want green energy? That's China. And that's the big challenge for the West, is to really put their fucking xenophobia down for a second and stop being suicidal about your energy policy just because you don't like China and you like the US. It's crazy.
How can anyone see China as doing nothing but winning as well? Anyway.
It's just the Red Scare. Speaking, I do have to get going. I want you to get to your Game of Thrones, your House of Dragons breakdown, but I do need to lay down. But I had an amazing time. And yeah, I hope you have a great time. And everyone, keep staying in the chat, and you guys are ready for some really fun pop culture stuff. That
Yeah, go
said,
on.
I
You
have to
jump
get
off.
on.
I'll chat about it after. But yeah, it was really
Thank you,
lovely to
Silvani.
chat though, darling. Have a good week. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
Bye. Good to talk to you.
Um, yeah. Let me go on about House Ring, and I'll let you get off as well because I know it's late where you are. I mean, I just wanted to talk about it because it's kind of the only thing I've been keeping up with this week. But I guess I had the like climate change segment. But House of the Dragon. If anyone is watching it, I did a video recently about Abigail Thorne and her character in it, which then ironically, I won't give spoilers, but basically there was not as much justification for how much I had to talk about because of the longevity of the character. Let's just say that. But so in general, the House of the Dragon has just had its second episode of season 3, and I don't know how many people watch it in this chat, but I will just say that originally season 2 was meant to have these 2 episodes that have just been released at the end, and it was meant to be a 10 episode series. So what we've basically witnessed was like the original ending of season 2, and you can really tell in the tone and how it's like finished and stuff like that. But I'm just like I'm allowing myself to completely indulge in enjoying it at the moment, if that makes sense. Like I'm going in completely like hit me as bad as it's going to end, whatever happens. Like I'm prepared for the like emotional devastation of how it could be terribly finished or whatever, but I'm really enjoying it. And I don't know, anyone in the chat watch it? Bridget, you said you've watched a couple episodes or something. Have you been watching season 3, or are you not caught up? I don't want to spoil anything.
Very rare for me. Oh geez, hold on. My microphone's been weird. Hold on.
I think about it though.
Ooh, okay. It made some weird noises for a second. Okay.
It did. It came a bit jungle. But...
No, so it's really weird actually for me to not watch like a Game of Thrones properly when it comes out as well, because I'm a massive fucking Martin fan.
Okay.
But also, I also didn't finish Fire and Blood, which is really weird for me. Like it's very unlike me, but it was just at the time I read it, and like also it's like a different tone, so it wasn't as like pulling you in and stuff. I liked the first. I liked the first season. I even liked the second season, despite what people said. I thought it was pretty good. But like also, I don't have high expectations for some of these properties, just because obviously I was a big book reader. When I watched all the original Game of Thrones, loved season 1. Season 2, I was like, oh, hold on, what's happening here? Season 3, I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty good. And then season 4, they have that scene that obviously the end scene made me fucking furious. They ruined Tyrion's character forever and it never recovered.
Absolutely.
Unforgivable.
Season 7, 8 don't exist to me, but yeah.
Yeah. And then also they had that bit, I think the bits in season 4 where they go to, where like Yara tries to go and rescue Theon. All that Theon stuff, the Reek stuff, them showing that, I think that sucked. They should have revealed it like they did in the books, which was quite hard. But there was the point where like he comes in, he's like, I need 20 good men. I was like, oh, this is bullshit. And they come in, and Ramsay stands there fucking it wasn't 20 good men, it's a different point. But Ramsay stand there fucking shirtless. And all these people who throw axes, the whole thing is they throw axes. They were just looking at him shirtless for 20 minutes while he slowly opened a cage. And it was the most fucking Scooby-Doo shit I've seen in my life. And then like
they get
season
past
5,
him
ass.
as well.
Yeah. Season 5, ass. Utter ass. Hate it. Season 6, by that point I realized I'm not going to do the show. It's a good season of fantasy TV, but it's not A Song of Ice and Fire. I could enjoy that. 7, 8, diabolical, horrendous, hated them both. I don't know why everyone thought that season 8 was the only bad one. Season 7 is fucking atrocious. The one good episode of those 2 seasons was the last one in Winterfell, before they do the long night, and because the long night was ass. But it was the last time anyone fucking talked to each other. It's the only character moment in those 2 seasons. It's fucking crazy.
We've gone off House of the Dragon. We're doing a Game of Thrones recap. I'm there for it as well. Sorry. It's never too late. No, I agree.
I love Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I fucking love it. I mean, I love Duncan Egg in general. I adore Duncan Egg.
We're gonna have some unpopular opinions.
Oh, you don't like it? I think it's fucking perfect.
Okay, I liked it. Okay, you go and then I'll go because I'm gonna take the floor. But go.
No, you don't go on.
Well,
I don't say more.
So Game of Thrones, I agree. I think you can so see where they run out of book, and then you kind of can't unsee that, right? So you're like, oh, you can tell that they run out of the book to write this character because they've started talking like the director, and they all start talking like the directors, and then the story is shit, and suddenly people can time travel and warp through you know, like season 1, half of the series is like an army getting from like the King's Landing to the north. That happens in like a second in a scene in like one episode of season 8 or whatever. Terrible writing.
Yeah, Littlefinger's TARDIS. I remember that part. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think of Varys as well. He's just like in Dawn in the next, yeah. But for me, I do this like what is it, compartmentalism, where I'm like, anything in Game of Thrones, the TV show, is canon, and then A Song of Ice and Fire as a series is written from the perspective of the Grand Maesters, right? And that's kind of also canon too. Like, it's like known that like the Maesters wrote their perception of what happened, and so this is a really weird little thing. But like Sam wrote A Song of Ice and Fire in the Game of Thrones series canon, right? He's the one that wrote it, and he was never really Daenerys Targaryen's biggest fan. She burned his dad. Sorry, spoilers. But like, even as a character, he's not really pro Dany. He's much more pro Jon. So then, in my little world, that's why Game of Thrones ended very anti-Dany and pro Jon, because Sam wrote the ending from his perception when he met Dany and started to write the character himself in his Maester repertoire. Does that make sense, or have I just completely dived off the deep end? Like, because basically, like, any writing of A Song of Ice and Fire as written by Sam in Game of Thrones, any depictions of Dany is something like he was told about her before he meets her, and then after he meets her, she becomes evil dragon villain queen, and I'm like, maybe I don't know. I'm like, can I compartmentalize that myself? I can see from your face.
You can have your headcanons. You can have your headcanons. The things we do for cope, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can see from your face. I've just huffed a line of cope on the live stream. But okay,
listen, it's just like you're trying to make it sound like you can't make it seem clever because it's just so fucking dumb by the end. Like, you can't inject any.
In my head, I'm like, okay, you can see what I mean. Like, game, whatever, fine. But then, so House of the Dragon, I feel like it still is canon, but they've got a better like story to base on, so the characters are well thought out, they can't make as many mistakes and stuff like that. The episode that they're writing has been complete within the kind of Fire and Blood book from George R. R. Martin. For me, I'm enjoying House of the Dragon in an entirely different personal place. Like, I loved Daenerys' character when I was young enough to appreciate it and grow up with it, and it was a huge role model for me. But now Rhaenyra is also that for me here, and like, so I'm enjoying it in my own little way. The reason I dislike A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was I put this take out on my YouTube channel, and it was very unpopular, so I am not expecting people to agree with me, okay? And that's all right. But House of the Dragon seemed to learn a lot of lessons and be the kind of like progressive answer to what the representation of the world of A Song of Ice and Fire was in Game of Thrones. Bear in mind, there is feminism, there is like multiculturalism in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. It's like the Bible, it's how you read it and how you draw those bits out. And I feel like House of the Dragon did that really well. It drew out the feminist angle, it drew out complaints and comment on the patriarchy, it drew out people of colour and representation. Why I didn't like Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was because it didn't actively choose to draw out those same things. And it was a very masculine series, and enjoyable in its own way, and I loved all the characters. Don't get me wrong, it was fantastic. It did what it needed to do, but it felt like a step back against the active progression that House of the Dragon took, which is technically set further back in the lore of time. So like, where was the Valerian house in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? Nowhere to be seen. There was a one woman of colour in the background of a funeral. Like, that was a choice, in my opinion, where even the female characters, they didn't take the spotlight in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which it so had the chance to do. We didn't get much background. We just had silly tall dunk just loving off this girl and barely just objectifying her from the beginning. Like, all of those things were a choice that I think House of the Dragon, we kind of got lulled into a false sense of progressivism, that we were like, okay, cool, lessons have been learned from the sexism of Game of Thrones, not of A Song of Ice and Fire, of Game of Thrones as an episode. Does that make sense? Am I have I put my tinfoil hat back on?
What I will say for my one thing that criticism that would have given at the time for Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, as much as I loved it, is I think that they should have fleshed out Tansel more. Yeah. I think that was the opportunity to do. She's a major character there. And I think even in the short story, like, she appears after for a brief moment, whereas she didn't in the show, and they really had the opportunity to have her have more of a presence. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like that they brought. The thing is that it's a short story, and it comes up like there's not a lot. It has sort of Lord of the Rings disease, where there's like one woman in there, and they had read that the sex worker character in there, which I do think they handle quite well. I do think there were some feminist themes, given that there was a lot of sort of comparisons between the sex work and the mercenary work, and how like they both sell their bodies and things like that, and how people see it differently, and like one scene is honorable and the other one scene is like degrading. But it's also like it's one of the few works of this, because this whole world and the way that George R. R. Martin writes is like he's like a very old school feminist guy, and there's like massive feminist themes throughout Song of Ice and Fire and his longer works.
Exactly.
Whereas like this is quite a short work, and a lot of the Dunk stories in general, they're like, and the Hedge Knight in specific, the theme is much more like, what does it mean to be a good person? What does it mean to be an actual hero? What does it mean to be a true knight? And like to be a true knight, just people seem to think it means like having honor, being rich, winning tournaments, but what it means is say standing up for the black woman that a prince is beating, and like be like, I'm gonna punch this prince in the face even if it means my death, because it's the right thing to do. And it's definitely like the themes are definitely different. It's definitely, if that's what you're watching it for those themes, the themes are different. I mean, that's sort of what makes it interesting.
I'm not saying that it wasn't good and it wasn't fun in its own way, but yeah, I did see that, and I think the juxtaposition of House of the Dragon was quite, like, to me, quite abrasive. Like, for example, like, where were all of the female Targaryen line? Where were their wives? Where were their mums and sisters? There was just no... The choice to not add, like you say, to give Tenzin more of the spotlight, a backstory, there was no active choice to do that, whereas House of the Dragon clearly made that. Like, it added gay storylines, and it added an answer to why they're not in the mainstream of the council, but they're there. You know, it did so well for that. It still is doing well. Gay kisses in House of the Dragon, there's loads of them. But there were also that in Game of Thrones. So people that were like jumping in my comments and being like, well, it wasn't ever progressive, it's a medieval fantasy world. It's like, Game of Thrones was gay as shit. Game of Thrones was gay from the get-go, and we love to see it. So, like, taking that out...
One of the things I would say for Game of Thrones especially is that, like, A Song of Ice and Fire is much more progressive, much more gay, and much more racially diverse than Game of Thrones. They really bleached up for Game of Thrones and got rid of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the other thing is the limits of telling like a single POV story versus like a multi-POV story, right? So one of the things that's really strongest about the Song of Ice and Fire books is that the female characters, the female POVs, they're really excellently written, and there's a lot of different perspectives given, whereas this is all like from one dumb guy's head and his ideas of what chivalry is, and him battling with like what a knight is supposed to be, which is it's a completely different thing. And
it's vibe. I did still love it, and I'm still loving House of the Dragon. I'm gonna round it down, but season 3 is incredible. We started off so strong. I'm probably gonna make some content about it because it's kind of the only thing I'm consuming. But Rhaenyra Targaryen's character is amazing. The actor Emma Darcy is incredible. They are already getting whispers for an Emmy for this performance of episode 2. I'm gonna kind of talk about it without spoiling, because I don't want to spoil it, and then we're probably gonna go, because I know it's late where Bridget is. But the acting is on fleek, and I think, like, did I really just say on fleek in 2026? I think I'm tired. I think I need to go. Bridget, I need to go. I'm not well. The acting is incredible, and
it's on fleek.
It's on. Shut the fuck up. I'm so not with it. No, it's incredible. Like, I feel like, let me sum it up like this. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was amazing, and I was watching it with my husband, and it was great. But it didn't give that vibe that was old school when a Game of Thrones episode was coming out, where you put your, like, Targaryen cloak on and you get your little hat out and everyone's sitting around the TV and we're all excited to watch it and we're gasping at the same moments and we're excited by the same things. It didn't do that for me. The fighting scenes were great, and it was like, yeah, this is so great. I'm so glad the universe has been adding to. Great point in time. But I wasn't excited every single point of the same time in the week, watching my screen, blocking out everything else around me, glass of red wine, like Cersei. I wasn't into it like that. Whereas, like, the internet now, the memes coming out with Rhaenyra Targaryen and just and stuff it feels like a cultural moment, which I don't think A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms did. I'm just going to say it, unpopular opinion. It was great though. I love
You
it.
are absolutely wrong about that because you remember the reception. You are lying to yourself. But
Maybe
that's
I
okay.
like fully. I probably at the time I was thinking the exact same thing. I just have selective memory. Oh well.
Can
I mean,
I actually ask you, sorry,
sure.
about Philosophy Tube's character? Because
Yes.
you said that she's meant to be a trans woman. I think Abby said that as well, right?
Well,
And then
we did do a video about this, and it was
Yeah.
popping off, which is why I haven't done anything else since because I'm busy. So
Yeah.
I'll go into more detail. Go on.
Because let me just say my problem with it, and please explain it to me because I'm trying to put your question. I thought when I saw season 2, this is very much like I was watching it with my partner at the time, and like I wasn't like looking at the internet or anything because I wasn't so into it that I was looking at the thing like I have been for certain things. But I thought she was supposed to be like a trans guy. Because I thought like it was sort of like there's sort of this like, oh, I want you to fuck my husband. So I was like, oh, so she's like, she's like, well, I thought it was he was what I thought. It's like, yeah, so it's a trans guy presenting as a guy but can't have sex but needs to legitimize themselves. And then it turns out that I'm absolutely wrong and it's meant to be a trans woman.
No,
I
I
think,
think.
oh well, I just completely missed that.
So yeah, I mean, you didn't draw from the same information incorrectly. I think what happened was the character was specifically ambiguous, but what we had canon in the end of season 2, watch me get so nerdy, sorry gang, is that so you're introduced with what was it, Sheriko Lohar as a character. The first introduction you have is Sheriko's like men in the team, they're like army, I would say, using he pronouns. So like, you must get this by our Lieutenant Shariko. He's a fierce fighter. Da, da, da. And it also is very poignant. You're like meant to remember. You're meant to know that they said he. And then Shariko comes on, long hair, kind of femme-ish expressing, but also in a masculine world. They don't gender themselves at all, but they have this kind of like conversation with Togen, like you say, I want you to have sex with my wives. But there's no canon, like they don't define themselves. And then in a few live streams with Abigail Thorne, she kind of talked about like, it's ambiguous, but I'm a trans woman playing the character, stuff like that. I can understand how people came to the trans male conclusion, but I saw it as a bit more like gender fluid / trans woman. And then in season 3, light spoilers, episode 1, the other side, so the Valerian army, who are basically fighting against Shariko's like characters in the Stepstones, they call that character Bitch Fist, which, by the way, I would love that to be nicknames that we can use. The Bitch Fist is the best name ever. I want that on my tombstone. Bitch Fist, I love it. But they use she pronouns. They use she, her. And in my head canon, all right, cope me if you will, I remember also seeing something about Abigail Thorne said something like she uses she for Shariko, like she's a character but her team still misgender her or something like that. So there was this like one line, I couldn't find the clip, which was really annoying, but it was basically that like Shariko is trans woman, but her team still misgender her from before because they know her from before. Whereas the Valerian team, the enemy who she's fighting, kind of only know her now. That's why they use she, her pronouns and call her Bitch Fist. Does that make sense? That's lightly like citation needed, and I'm just in my nerdy feels and I can't find the exact quote, but it was something like that. And that was kind of that was what we thought in season 2. So then that was kind of proven in season 3, episode 1, where they use she, her pronouns, if that makes sense. So so in my headcanon, she's trans feminine adjacent, but it could be non-binary, it could be like gender fluid, but without spoiling too much, we didn't find out, and it's unlikely that we will. But so I did this massive
I already
video
know what
essay.
happens, so it's fine.
Yeah, I did this massive video essay. I was like, is Abigail Thorne the right character going into the past? Israel Palestine, like 50-minute episode, and then episode 1 ended, and I was like, oh, very much not necessary for the character in question.
See, I had heard she was gonna die. Spoilers. I had heard what her fate was.
Spoilers.
I was just said it before I saw your video, and I was like, oh well.
Had you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'd already been spoiled.
Again,
Yeah.
I mean, we were meant to get episode 1 and 2 at the end of season 2, so like it would have been a 2-episode character, and I'm like, if I had known, if I could have told past me to not put all of the effort into that video essay, still it's doing well as a video, so I'm happy with it. But
You were right that she was in so much of the marketing. Considering it was very
I mean,
strange.
it was a bit like, but then also, I mean, are we allowed to talk about spoilers? Spoilers? This is serious spoilers now, guys. This is a real one. So log off if you don't want to know.
All right, chat. We're going to be gone after this, so if you need no spoilers for House of the Dragon,
yeah,
you're watching now. Lovely to see you.
There's no much else.
Please subscribe to everyone.
There's not much else to worry about. But are you mind if I spoil it as well, Bridget? I know you said you haven't seen it.
Please spoil it for me.
Also, we lost another big character in the same scope. We lost Jace. Oh, I don't want to say it out loud. Yeah. But he was also obviously in the promo. But they obviously have to limit. They can't like not include them because they're in one episode, because also that would be spoilers in itself. Imagine in the promo it was like they're taking a back burner. Don't worry about them. They're not going to be in the end. Like it would be late. So I don't know if it was like because of the fact that the two last episodes were split and they knew that, you know, they were carrying over that character to the next season, or if that was like a happy coincidence. But like basically they have to kind of carry on as if all of these characters are going to be around to the end, and obviously it's Game of Thrones, they're not going to. But did you know about the philosophy line in season 2? Do you know about the kind of conspiracies about this? I'd love to get into this if we can. Basically,
no, I saw it in your video. Like obviously, like when I was seeing the original episode in season 2, I was like, come on. But like,
I mean, people are like, I won't get into it. I've seen a few comments on Core Media. No, people have said, I mean, so Abigail Thorne on her stream says it was written in originally, and because of the writer's strike, it couldn't be written out, which I can understand that might have been the case. But we're also like meant to believe that they didn't know who she was as an actress, where she came from, her background in Philosophy Tube, then happened to use that word in the script without knowing her background originally. I just think that might just be a weird coincidence. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, I'm going to take my conspiracy.
I just think it'd be such bad writing if they wrote it in. I really want to believe that that was just all coincidence, because if they deliberately did, it'd be such terrible writing.
I mean, but then even if they didn't know and it was a coincidence, it's still really bad writing. There's no world that she would have, as a character, seen this random Lannister and been like, are you a philosopher, a poet? He doesn't look like any of those things. And those two things are so random. Why would it not be like, are you a fighter? Are you a good man? Are you a maester of the Citadel? It's like, what? Are you a poet or a philosopher? Like, philosophers, by the way, in the universe, haven't really existed. We haven't ever had the word philosopher before. I don't know. I just think there's some copium happening, but maybe from me. Maybe.
No, well, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I much prefer Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Like, I think just the writing is just massively better.
The writing was good. The cinematography in as well, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was the best in the whole universe. I agree completely.
Sorry, I'm just going to look on a search of Ice and Fire and see if philosopher appears in the series, because now I'm curious.
I don't think there has been a mention of a philosopher character in the entire universe until that point. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Philosopher and philosophy appear in no book works, none of the books, none of the short stories.
And I'm sorry, we're meant to believe
Fire and Blood.
We're meant to believe that either the writers happened to use that word for Abigail's character. They had about 3 lines in the whole episode, not knowing where she came from in Philosophy Tube. Also, the behind-the-scene casting of it's like, you know where people come from when you cast them. Am I mistaken there? Like, you don't.
It'll be on her CV.
Yeah, like literally, like she said it like it was a coincidence, and I just couldn't change it because of the writer's book. I'm like, bitch, they knew. Like, of course they knew. What do you mean? I just can't. And I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm going to get myself cancelled, Bridget. I've already said I didn't like...
Yeah, I'd say, like, be careful what you say. That's my mood. That's oomph. I'm not gonna lay into oomph.
No, I mean, it fully could just be. And yeah, I know I'm talking about the greats. But as I more had a lot to say about the character, because, like, the idea of this, like, gender fluid character in a very... fighting on the patriarchal side, I was like, what's going to happen? Find out the hard way. Anyway, I will leave you because I could raffle on about House of Dragon forever, but I will definitely want to maybe add to my little pop culture segments the more the series progresses, because it's so good. And my chat, if any of you are planning on watching it, do keep up so that you can enjoy this chat with me, because it's such a good series.
Yeah. I will catch up, and then we can have, like, when everyone else has to leave, we can do Dragon Chat.
Well, I'm glad that you're, like, a fan of the universe in general and stuff as well. That means we can at least have good chats like this.
Yeah.
It could be our little
Oh,
end of
I'm a
segment.
big fantasy nerd in general, and I'm a massive Martin fan in specific. Like, I fucking love George R. R. Martin's writing.
He's great. And like you said,
yeah.
he writes female characters so well. Arya Stark's character is great. Sansa, like, really, really ahead of his time. Right, I'm going to go before I pass out. But I'm going to end the stream and wind down and stuff. I'll still be in the chat if you want to defrag. But by all means, jump off if you have to. Let me say goodbye to my side, though. Thank you so much, chat, for jumping in. I'm sorry that I saw in chat we didn't have audio at the beginning, and we were already in it, so I couldn't really go back and change it. But I will release like a semi-edited segment on the main channel, the Left Wing Transmission podcast channel. Go check that out if you haven't already. And I'll release like a bit more of a nicer segment of that. So keep an eye out for that if you want to catch from the beginning, but you don't want to find out where the audio starts. Apologies. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all very soon. I'll be working on something soon, but we're a little bit scatterbrained over this side. But keep an eye out for more. Love you all. See you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Right, how do I end this? What do I do?
Has the stream stopped? This is the question.
Hold on.
Because
Yeah,
like,
let me double
a 3-second delay, right?
Yeah, and also like I